Hello there, welcome back. It's been a while since I've had a video. We're going to do a little Legion video of basically my Legion army to date, including the terrain that I have. I have about half a table's worth of quality terrain. I have some filler stuff that I use for the rest at the moment, but right now I'm just going to show you the stuff that I'm pleased with, and I'm going to be using and modeling everything after going forward. I have my entire army painted for once, including Sabine, who I will give some close-ups of later. So what I'm going to go do here is I'm going to go through each unit or expansion, just give you a little close-up of it, and then a couple of the newer ones or the things that I want to show you I will show at the end. But what I would like from you is, if you see something here that I've painted and you would like to know more about it, post in the comments below about what you'd like some more information on, and based on those comments I will make some dedicated videos for each different expansion. If you want to know how I did the Landspeeder, post that you'd like to know more about how I did different aspects of the Landspeeder, and I will try and make a dedicated video towards that. Same with the terrain. Anything that you're interested in, I will try and make a dedicated video for. So right now what we're going to do, and do the best camera work that I can, is focus in on a few different things. So I've got, let's see, we've got the Airspeeder over here, the Landspeeder, one of my ATRTs. I do have 2 Airspeeders and 3 ATRTs, although the third ATRT and the second Airspeeder are not painted. They just aren't competitive enough in the game to make it worth my while. So I have some Wookiees here. I do have a couple of sets of Wookiees. I've got the specialists in the background there. For the most part, like the Rebel Troopers and Fleet Troopers, I've painted each unit very similarly, so I won't go into too much detail on those. This is all of my uniques, commanders, and operatives. You can see Sabine there, who I will give you a little bit more at the end of the video. You'll also notice some differences in the basing, like the commanders here, I've completed the basing. Some of the newer expansions I've also completed the basing on, like the Pathfinders back here, and one of my units of commandos has finalized basing on it. So I still need to go back and base some of these, but I wanted to get through the painting. You can see my FD back there. So the FD, I'll probably show you a close-up of that, because I actually modified that a little bit in that I took a couple of Rebel Troopers, put them on there, and took the Hoth Troopers off. Just personal preference. Some Fleet Troopers and the Wookiees. And as far as the terrain, I know I have another video on the Imperial Shuttle back there. I have an unboxing video of this other terrain, but it's all painted now. If you'd like some information on what I do to go about painting that, I did go fairly in depth in one of them. And the trees that you'll see in the background, those trees, I had to create a base for them, but they're essentially model railroading type trees. Somewhat expensive, but I really like the scale on the trees. They're really nice. And all of this terrain is from Corvus terrain, and I had it printed by Print Terrain. I really want to get some more terrain at the moment. It's just a little out of my budget. I need to, and I'm also trying to decide whether to get a 3D printer and try and print some myself, or purchase more. So that's another thing. If you'd like to see more about 3D printing, I do have a desire to get a 3D printer at some point. If that's something that you'd like to see more of, especially when it comes to Legion, post that below too. Let me know. Alright, so I'm gonna reset up now and go in a little bit closer on a couple of these expansions. Right, here we have Sabine. As of the making of this video, she's only been out for a day or two. You can see that I did paint all of the parts, although I'll probably play her mostly with the head, not the helmet, and probably the pistols, not the Darksaber, but I'm not sure about that. I might play them equally. They do friction fit well, so I'm not going about magnetizing anything at the moment. As long as they're friction fitting, I'll be fine with that. Sabine's really a difficult paint because she has a very exotic outfit with her painted armor. I tried to do as much as I could with that, but I don't get into minute details as well as some. So sometimes it's just a color, or I simplified it. For example, on her right shoulder, her armor has a checkerboard pattern. There's no way I was going to even attempt it, so I just used a metallic paint on that shoulder, which I think works really well. I also went with her white hair that then tapers from pink to purple towards the ends. Tried to do my best in terms of replicating that as well. And when I'm painting, I really just want people to be able to recognize the character when they're out there. Having a perfect paint job isn't as important to me. I mean, I try and do as best as I can, but for me it's playing the game and having the unit be recognizable on the table, and that's what I'm shooting for. And here we have the FD cannon. You'll see as it comes around that I made sure to make the arcs recognizable in the base. You can also see that I've used Rebel Troopers instead of the Hoth Troopers, and I modified the Rebel Commander to use the Hoth Troopers' arms in order to have him stand at the controls, I guess you could say. Otherwise, not a terribly difficult paint job. Just, mostly Mechanicus gray, a couple of colors here or there, wash and dry brush, and basing outside of the minis themselves. And the Landspeeder I just recently finished. I've only played maybe one game with it. I haven't gotten too much into playing the Landspeeder yet. Still have to base this one. This one has not been based yet. Otherwise, basically complete. This one was interesting because you get a couple of aliens that we hadn't had before, so had to kind of figure out my approach to doing the alien skin. And plus, I think those minis are probably the two best weapons on the thing. The two hard mounts, they don't appeal to me very much. In terms of the striping, I did mask that. Again, I can talk about that more. Some of my Armada ships have done a similar masking. And finally for this video, here's some Pathfinders. I found doing both Biston and POW to be a bit of a challenge. You also have to be careful with the rebels because it's not as obvious as with some other minigames, but almost every unit has at least one female character. This one, big ponytail coming out the back there. You just need to be aware that there are female characters in, I believe, every unit that has been released, every core unit, and I believe every special forces unit as well. Although the Wookiees, I guess it would be a little bit difficult to tell. But in terms of the humanoid characters, there's at least one female in each. And once again, if you would like to see any more about any of these, the things that I've painted here, my approach to it, I do find filming individual minis really difficult. It's much easier to do the Armada ships. Filming the individual minis can be really tough. I need to get it really close to my face sometimes, so keeping the mini in shot while I'm painting I find extremely difficult. But I would be more than happy to explain my approach, and potentially at some point go over different things with brushes and paints and that kind of stuff. I do also have one unit of Rebel Troopers that I don't have painted yet. I am saving them in order to test contrast paints, but again, those paints are relatively expensive, not quite in my budget yet. I'd be much more interested in getting expansions, and at the moment I can't really do both, so the contrast paint testing will have to wait. There's plenty of people that have tested the contrast paints already. I'm not sold on them yet, but I do think that they're great in that they will be able to get people who aren't into painting to be able to paint their minis more quickly and have a relatively quality job done with it. But again, please post in the comments below any more that you would want to hear. Please like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe. It helps me a lot. And thank you very much, and we'll try and be back soon. Thank you.